You ever go through a season where being alone feels safer than letting people close? Not because you actually want distance, but because somewhere along the way, life convinced you that keeping to yourself was safer. Sometimes we don't even notice it happening. You just slowly pull back, get quiet, or stay guarded. If you've ever felt that, sit with me for a minute. Because what I'm about to share is my story, but I think you might feel pieces of it in yours too. For a long time, I thought my loner tendencies were just part of my personality, like it was hardwired into my DNA. But looking back, I didn't become a loner because I enjoyed being distant. I became one because something in me believed it was safer. Every disappointment, every moment of being misunderstood, every time someone left, every time I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling, all of it layered up over time. And without realizing it, I was making protective adjustments, which I thought was making me wiser. I wasn't saying I want to be alone. I was saying I don't want to be hurt like that again. But I'm learning now by the grace of God that there's a big difference between those. And maybe that's familiar for you too. Not because solitude is our actual desire, but because life taught us to keep our guards up. What's finally changing in me hasn't come in one dramatic moment, though. It wasn't this big emotional prayer or a complete breakdown. It wasn't one of those God spoke to me instantly moments. It was subtle, and it was over time, until one day it finally started to click. Small things started hitting me. Moments where the silence was deafening felt heavy instead of peaceful. Times where I felt loneliness in a way I just couldn't ignore. Times where I realized the safer I thought isolation gave me was actually keeping me from what I deeply wanted. And every time that awareness surfaced, I felt God saying, "This isn't who I made you to be. This is who you became when you didn't feel protected and tried to manage it on your own." That landed hard. Because it wasn't rebellion, it wasn't a stubbornness, it wasn't even my preference, it was survival. God started peeling back the layers slowly, patiently, and it honestly caught me off guard. Because underneath it all, the self-preservation, the "I'm good, I don't need anyone" mindset, there was a version of me I forgot existed. A version that actually wanted community, one that wanted deep relationships, and one that wasn't afraid to feel. I had buried that version of myself so deeply that I genuinely forgot he existed. And the wild thing is, the parts of me I thought were weak, God was calling them core to my being. I'd confused vulnerability with danger. I'd confused silence with strength and confused isolation with peace. But God wasn't trying to take my peace away, he was restoring it. And it's still unfolding. God didn't reveal my loneliness to shame me. He revealed it to heal me. He's been rebuilding the version of me that I hid from everyone. The version that can love deeply, connect honestly, and trust again. The version that isn't hiding behind walls anymore. The one that knows strength isn't being untouchable, it's having the right foundation. And I'm realizing something else. That loner persona wasn't my identity. It was just easier, or so I thought. It was my reaction, a defense, a survival instinct, but it was never God's blueprint for my life. I'm not sharing this to tell you what you should be doing. I'm not here to diagnose your season or assume your story. I'm just letting you in on what God's been showing me in my own life, because maybe, just maybe, he's been nudging your heart in a similar way. Maybe you didn't choose the distance, maybe it just became familiar. Maybe your isolation isn't who you are, maybe it's who you felt you had to become. And maybe God is trying to reintroduce you to yourself. The you that you haven't seen in years, or maybe never even met. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And I'm still letting God show me who I am beneath the walls that I built. But if anything in this video connects with you, please don't ignore it. Take it to Him. You're not alone. Not in this, not in your story, not in who you want to get back to being or become. I'm with you. And more importantly, God is always close to the brokenhearted.